Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon. Come a little closer. You're going to hear that expression many times. It's not an expression that I used necessarily in the last 30 years. It's new because this is a new energy. The energy that is new is an invitation energy to discover that you're really truly made up of. And in order to do that, the metaphor is to come closer to the other side of the veil. There are many who have asked, well, Kryon, who really truly are you all? Are you a human? Are you somebody who used to be a human? And what is the energy of Kryon? It's an intellectual pursuit, dear ones, for you to try to understand and figure out an angelic energy. That is who Kryon is. If you even use the word who, it is the 3D of you who wants to identify in 3 dimensions everything that is. Who is God? The very question would make you logically say, well, if you say who is God and give an explanation, will you say, well, then who is next to God? It's a very 3D question. The energy of the other side of the veil is one energy. All of us who give you messages of any kind, especially those who have never been human here on this planet, bring to you the same energy. It's the same energy from the creative source. Indeed, if you want to call it angelic, do so. For that is the definition for some of you of compassion and love, understanding. And that's what sits before you now. I'm Kryon. But in that, not just one entity, I represent the multitudes. The energy of the other side of the veil when it looks upon you and knows your name. I represent every healing that has ever occurred on the planet. I represent every epiphany that has ever occurred on the planet. Because when those things happen, there is a coherence. Have you heard the word before? The coherence is a mingling of consciousness. And if you wish to intellectualize it, you will not understand it. Mingling of consciousness is what you feel when you're in love. It's the best example.
At Novavax, we're working on innovative ways to help protect people from the world's most challenging infectious diseases, like the flu and COVID-19. We focus on vaccines, so you can focus on you. Learn more at WeDoVaccines.com.
Santiago of the Sea's magical mermaid Lorelei is diving in, making an exclusive splash at Target, in stores in the preschool aisle and online. Now you can help Lorelei.
Example I can give you. Those who have fallen in love, as they say, have fallen together into coherence. And what they think about each other often is the same thing. One will have a thought, the other one is thinking it. A coherence of compassionate love. The mother who looks in the eyes of her child for the first time at birth. The welcome to earth moment. The love, the compassion. It cannot be described. There is a coherence immediately between the mother and the child, breathing the same air in the same space. As one. This is when The magic happens when you cross the bridge. Now, there have been those who would say, well, I'm not feeling that magic yet. It's a setup, isn't it? Indeed, a 3D moment when we're on one side of the bridge, then we cross the bridge and we're in the portal. A 3D moment meaning there's the A and there's the B, there's the crossing, there's not the crossing. And you expect that when you go through the mist, everything will change. Perhaps this is the first time I have said it. Why not do that now? Why not cross the bridge in your mind before you do it in 3D? Why not drop into your heart at the moment and just sit and think to yourself, this is a magic time and a magic place. I deserve to be here, and you do. You've given some affirmations a moment ago. Truly, that's what they were. Permission you've given. If you said the words, you know where we're going. It's your willingness to think out of the box. It's your willingness to not be then focused or connected to one certain thing that you've come for, but rather to think, what if all of me is going to change? What if I could have coherence, you might say, with the other side of the veil? And if you have thought of that, then I don't have to tell you anything more, because that is Healing Wednesday. It is when you develop a coherence with your soul, the bridge you cross becomes something that you are. Kryon, what do you mean by such a statement? How can the bridge become something we are? What if there were no bridge? If you wake up in the morning, what if you're in the portal and you're also on the planet? If you have that experience, dear ones, you are in coherence with your soul. And that is the goal. That someday, when these programs are not produced as they are now, you still have the experience of crossing the bridge. And that can simply be all the time, even when you sleep, because that is who you are. It's more than a change of life. It's a paradigm change of your existence. When you change your mind, and a paradigm of who you are then moves away, you change perhaps what you do for a living, because you're no longer happy with one thing and you do something else, or you have an epiphany of consciousness that says, well, I want to help people more, or do something like that. Do you understand just how remarkable that is? It's like you move to another layer and your reality is different. How many of you have looked back on your life and said, that's not me? And I'm not talking about looking at you yourself when you were, for instance, in school. I'm talking about as an adult. 10 years ago, maybe less. And you look back and you say, that is not me. I am different now. I think different. I act different. I am different. Some of you have even changed your name. You're so different. That is a change of coherence. You're now resonating at a higher level with the other side of the veil. You've crossed a bridge. Let's do that. Let's do that now for all of you. We'll do it again in what you will call 3D, and I will walk you through the potentials. But here's an invitation. Why not do it before you cross the mist? What if the mist simply was a demarcation point so that you can feel a 3D journey is at hand? But in reality, you're already there. Let's go. Come to the bridge with me right now, as you do every single time. If you're new to this, there's a bridge between that which you know.
Nature gives people a place for peace, healing, and community. Being in nature, far from the things that dominate my life, I feel connected to something bigger, a place where everyone can feel endless possibility. That's why Cliff Bar and I are partnering with Outdoor Afro. We're energized and inspired by their mission to celebrate Black connections and leadership in nature.
Outdoor Afro believes
There's a bridge between that which you know and that which you do not. And we're going to cross it now. And in the middle of that bridge, a mist. A mist that keeps you from seeing what's on the other side of the mist. And that is on purpose. It's not to create uncertainty or fear. It's not to create a test. It's because when you cross that mist, all of you will see or feel or experience something's different from this side. Now, for those who say, well, I have trouble feeling or seeing or all of that, I say to you right now, what if you don't need that? What if instead you simply sit and feel the incredible caring for you that the creative source has? That's all that we're asking. You go to a place that changes you. Come across the bridge with me now. To the middle of the bridge you are, the mist is there. For those of you who visualize, who see, who feel, and want to do this, come with me. Let me take your hand. And before you cross in the mist, we'll do something we've done before. All of you watching, take all of your hands. Why don't we cross together, all of you? There are a lot of you. You're going to have a lesson today in coherence. Let's go. Crossing the mist is a metaphor for going to a place without expectation. Going to a place where you're not saying, well, I'm going to go there and then going to a theater in the round that we always go to and I'm going to be healed there. Instead, you step into a new consciousness paradigm where everything is so different, where every cell of your body is so different. And you float over if you wish to, or you walk over if you wish to that doorway when we're going into the theater together. We always go to this theater. It's a metaphor, dear ones. The doorway is a metaphor. It's an opening and entrance between what is and what's going to be, and you go in and you see this theater in the round. And the expectation, of course, is there's an audience, or not, but the potential of one. In other words, you're going to be on stage and there's watchers or participators. That's the metaphor. It's always the same. Come with me. Through the door, if you wish. Down the stairs in this sunken theater of the round, up onto the stage and into this chair. We always go there, dear ones. We've said this before. The chair itself is a symbol. And it can mean so many things to so many people. If you stand and you're examined, that has a connotation of judgment, does it not? Stand and deliver is an expectation that you're going to have to do something. But when you sit down, it's comfortable. You sit down with a friend and you discuss things. You don't stand with a friend necessarily in your house for a length of time and discuss things. You sit down. In that sitting position, we've said before, it allows your feet to be washed. Hard to do when you're standing up. It's a metaphor. Relax. Sit in the chair. The audience tonight is already there. But this particular audience is different. This is an audience of those you've never met and you may not meet. It's an audience that represents those from all cultures all over the planet. Some cultures you know of, languages you've heard of, and ones you don't know of, and languages that are impossible to you. But in this multidimensional space of soul discovery, you're meeting their soul level parts. So there are no real differences in language or even in culture, because the soul is the soul, and all souls are identical with that kernel of love and compassion at the center. All things earthly are dropped away. And you look at them and they look at you, and there is a feeling of exuberance. Truly, the audience is electric. Well, something is coming. And then you start to feel it, and here is the invitation. I want you to have a coherence, not just with the souls of those people, but with those people, with those countries, with the fact that all of them have family, just like you. I want you to have a coherence with them, meaning a two-way feeling that they may wish to have a healing as well. It's a tough time on the planet, dear ones. It still is. There are fears and anxieties. Question: if two groups of people are in coherence together, have you learned that it starts to lessen the fear? Make it less. Have you learned what else happens? That there is far more compassion and love in a coherence than anything else. It's required. That's the energy that creates coherence. Heartfelt energy that passes between souls, between those of consciousness. Science is starting to show this is real. I want you to sit right now, not just in coherence with the rest of those in this program, but with the planet. Is that too much to ask? They have souls just like you do. Don't mind that there's so many of them. It's meaningless. Think of them as one coherent group. And you step into their group, and they welcome you. And they say to you, you are as loved as we are. And then they remind you that the more you can have this wonderful singularity, coherence with the other side of the veil and your soul energy, the more that happens, the more the 3D experience is translated right to your cells, and the healing that you came for comes with it. Are you understanding this? You practice a coherence with everyone around you, even stretching across the oceans, and you will find you are dearly loved. Go from this place with peace and that which you came for. And so it is.